again, with me, you've got a public record. You know where I voted over the years. What you see is what you get. And insofar as viability, we've now raised over $2.2 million from some 25,000 individual donors. And how does that compare to the past? Well, if you look at the 2004 cycle, where we had Bill Jones, our former Secretary of State, running, and Rosario Marin and others, I've now raised more than the top three Republicans combined had raised at that point in the campaign back in 2004. It's about the same that Tom Campbell has raised, although obviously in a much shorter period of time. He's got a lot of wealthy friends up in the Bay Area. And Carly Fiorina's probably raised about $3.5 million from other people by now. And she's put about $2.5 million of her own money in. But, I'm the only non-millionaire in the race. And having raised $2.2 million from a lot of people shows some significant grassroots strength. And I think that sort of grassroots strength, having the I-Caucus endorsement, the California Republican Assembly endorsement, Tom McClintock's endorsement, these sorts of endorsements in this sort of year, that's going to be what's going to carry me to victory, not only on June 8th, but in November against Barbara Boxer.
There are people right now on Twitter, Chuck, pointing out that they've donated $50 to your campaign and calling on others to do the same, making the point that you're making. I don't mean to be redundant or sound silly, but I love those words, principles and values, because I brought them up, Chuck. I brought those words up, and then you mentioned the Tea Party. How consistent with what I was thinking, because that's where the country is today. The independent, the libertarian, the independent voter are very sick and tired. I don't think the country is uneasy merely because Barack Obama's out of touch. I think the country's is uneasy because, yes, Barack Obama's out of touch with the mainstream America, but so is, in my opinion, so many folks representing the GOP. And this is where the appeal of the Chuck DeVores and others have come to be.
Well, that's why we saw Senator Bennett lose his opportunity
That's right.
to run again out in Utah. I mean, whoever would have thought that would have happened? Now, granted, Utah has a convention process that's different than a primary, but you had to get really organized to get those people to the convention ahead of time so that they could be part of that convention and vote them out. That was pretty remarkable. And, of course, you saw, what was it, an 18-term congressman out of West Virginia lose his primary yesterday.
Yeah.
So clearly people are paying more attention now than they have historically paid. And this is a good thing. People need to take pride in the fact that in our representative democracy, we've gone to the precipice a few times. We've had extreme danger in our nation's history, and the voters have always done the right thing. They've always invested some time, studied the issues, studied the candidates, and voted the right way. And that's one of the great things about the American democratic experiment is that our republic renews itself every 2 to 4 years and makes these mid-course corrections that save us from disaster. And right now we're in one of those periods of time in our history where the American people are realizing that we're on an unsustainable course. And it's not just the Democrats that have put us this way.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. There's plenty of accommodationist Republicans that have grown government and have made decisions that they made to make it easier to get reelected rather than doing the right thing.
Chuck, your website again, please.
Well, ChuckDeVore.com, and of course, a very big presence on Twitter, at Chuck DeVore. And by the way, on Twitter, I am so thankful. I've got so many people that spend quite a bit of time retweeting and posting things. You've had some on your show, of course, but these are all people who don't get paid by the campaign. We've got them from Massachusetts to California, and I've just been very blessed with a great Twitter brigade. And, of course, now Mike Huckabee's been helping out a lot on that as well. And then on Facebook, we're at DeVore for California is our fan site. And we have a great YouTube page as well. DeVore numeral 4CA is our YouTube account.
Chuck, let me tell you, you've got Gidgey and Dana Point retweeting your comments right now. Hippie Chick, the John Mark, Mike PFS in West Covina. And you want to know something, Chuck? We've got a listener to this show from Poland who listens online in Poland, and she found us. Maggie found us because she's a Chuck DeVore fan. So.
I've heard of Maggie. That's remarkable that you've got a listener in Poland who's following you, and I recall Maggie. Absolutely. I think the first contact with our campaign was something like 8 or 9 months ago, if I recall. And, of course, Hippie Chick is great, wonderful patriot. With as much as she tweets, it makes me wonder, what does this woman do for a living that she can tweet all day long like this? I mean, I'm very thankful for it, but, it kind of makes me wonder. I guess she's independently wealthy or something.
All right. Well, we'll find out, I'm sure, because she checks in with us quite a bit on Twitter as well. And
you ought to have her on your show if she's willing to come on.
Well, she's been on, actually.
Well, there you go. I missed it. I've only heard it with Kalamazoo, as you would say, humma, humma, humma. I think it's how you tried to pronounce the screen name.
Right. All right. Well, Chuck DeVore, we'll see if there is an announcement tomorrow or not that Melanie was aware of that we're all not, and if not, then we trudge on. But I'm sure our paths will cross again.
Absolutely.
All right, Chuck DeVore, thanks for joining us, and keep on rocking on, Chuck.
Thank you.
All right, folks, I'm Rick Amato. There's Chuck DeVore.